Eighth grade, Mr. O here. Glad to be with all of you. Your word today is a doozy. It's skullduggery. Yeah, skullduggery. What a weird word. Go ahead and hit pause and figure this one out. All right, to figure out the part of speech, let's take the structure of this sentence and plug in a totally random word. Usually, when you have some blank, you have some homework, you have some chores, some clothes on the ground that you gotta clean up, right? You gotta put them in the hamper, right? So when you have some, it's almost always followed by a noun. If you look at that middle sentence, types of skullduggery, types of cars, types of houses, types of gardens. Ooh. So usually after types, we have a noun. And that is, in fact, what skullduggery is. So that picture and the caption, Young Indiana Jones was up to some skullduggery, doesn't really help me to figure it out, to figure out the definition. I get the pun. He's got skulls and he's got a shovel. I get the pun, but I don't really get what it means. Let's look at that middle sentence. In order to capture ships at sea, pirates would practice all types of blank to gain an advantage over their prey. So imagine you're a pirate. What are you going to do in order to try and trick another ship to get close enough that you can capture them? Well, you might trick them, right? You might make it seem like you need help, and then when they get close enough to help, then you jump on board and avast ye matey, and you steal their booty, right? So that's exactly what it is. Skullduggery is trickery. It's something that you do kind of behind the scenes, under the table. It's kind of shady business. Okay, so that's what skullduggery is. All right, my friends, I want you to quiz yourself. You don't need to turn anything in, okay? I want you to see if you can supply the counter argument for this thesis. So in an essay, let's say you were arguing that Ponyboy and Johnny are heroes for going into the burning church to save those kids. What would be the counter argument? Hit pause, give yourself some time, and really see if you can supply the counter argument. All right? See what you can do on your own. All right? If you haven't hit pause yet, please hit pause. I'm going to go over. All right? All right. So first off, with a counter argument, is this what you are arguing? No. This is what the naysayers will say. Somebody reads your argument, this is what the haters will say. So, the first three words that we need to point out, this is not what I'm arguing, this is what some will say. Okay? And then we say the opposite. So we're arguing they are heroes. Well, they're gonna argue the opposite, right? Some will say Ponyboy and Johnny are not heroes. And the last thing we need is why. What is the reason? Hopefully you guys came up with some of your reasons. Personally, I feel like maybe they're not heroes. If they are the ones who started the church on fire in the first place because they were careless with a cigarette, well then, I don't know, are they still heroes for going inside? Maybe they still are. I don't know, that's what I'm asking you. You know, they didn't have to go in, but morally, would they be culpable if those kids were to perish in that fire? Would they be responsible for that? So it's something to think about. All right. So today, oh, sorry. What's a foil character? Do you remember? Do you? Do you? Don't look. Do you remember? Foil characters are characters that are very similar, but they have one key difference. Okay, that's something we want to keep in mind as we keep reading this book, because this book is filled with characters that are similar, but the little differences, these key differences that they have, they highlight really important things about the characters. Okay, so today's class is all about the aha. Aha! Today is all about the aha. Ponyboy realizes lots and lots of things, starting with something from our last reading. The very end of chapter 6, Ponyboy, he's reunited with Soda and Derry. And he has this moment. I let go of Soda, and I stood there for a minute. Derry didn't like me. He drove me away that night. He hit me. He hollered at me all the time. He didn't give a hang about me. Sounds like Ponyboy from the beginning of the book. But suddenly I realized, horrified, that Derry was crying. He didn't make a sound, but tears were running down his cheeks. I hadn't seen him cry in years, not even when Mom and Dad had been killed. Derry did not even cry at their funeral. In that second, what Soda and Dally and Two-Bit had been trying to tell me came through. Derry did care about me, maybe as much as he cared about Soda, and because he cared, he was trying hard to make something of me. When he yelled, "Pony, where you been all this time?" he meant, "Pony, you scared me to death. Please be careful, because I couldn't stand if anything happened to you." Pretty big aha moment, right? Leading up to this, the whole book, Ponyboy, our narrator, has been leading us to believe that Derry doesn't care for him, right? Leading us to believe that Derry is more like, I don't know, Johnny's parents, more like Dally's dad, right? More like their parents who don't care about them. And yet, now he suddenly realized it's the complete opposite. It's because he cares so much about Ponyboy that he pushes him so much, right? He pushes him to go outside and play football because he wants him to stay healthy. He pushes him to study hard because he wants him to be successful and go to college. So let's keep going on. We're going to be looking for aha moments today. I'm going to be Randy, and you're going to be Ponyboy. All right? And our purpose is we're looking for something that Ponyboy realizes. All right? So I will be Randy, and I shall begin. Lino, come here. I want to talk to you. I read about you in the paper. How come? I wouldn't have. I would have let those kids burn to death. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I would never have believed a greaser could pull something like that. I'm not going to show at the Rumble tonight. I'm sick of all this. Sick and tired. Bob was a good guy. He was the best buddy I could have. I mean, he was a good fighter and tough and everything, but he was a real person too, you dig? I don't know why I'm telling you this. I couldn't tell anyone else. My friends, they think I was off my rocker or turning soft. Maybe I am. I know I'm sick of this whole mess. That kid, your buddy, the one that got burned, he might die. And tonight, people get hurt in rumbles, maybe killed. I'm sick of it because it doesn't do any good. You can't win, and even if you whip us, you'll still be where you were before, at the bottom. And we'll still be the lucky ones with all the breaks, so it doesn't do any good, the fighting and the killing. It doesn't prove a thing. We'll forget about it if you win, or if you don't, greasers will still be greasers. The socials will still be socials. So I'd fight if I thought it'd do any good. I think I'm going to leave town, take my old Mustang and all the dough I can carry and get out. Oh, hell, I know it. But what can I do? I'm Mark Chicken if I punk out at the Rumble, and I'd hate myself if I didn't. I don't know what to do. No, you wouldn't. I'm Soch. You get a little money and the whole world hates you. Thanks, Grease. I didn't mean that. I mean, thanks, kid. What did Mr. Super Soch have to say? All right. So think about it. What is Ponyboy realizing here? We've got this memory, right? Randy comes and he's talking about Bob, talking about how he was, one of his best friends, how he misses him, talking about how he doesn't want to fight in the Rumble because it's not going to change anything. He's sick and tired of fighting. And Ponyboy remembers Cherry saying things are rough all over. And at the time, he said, shh, shoot, Mustangs and Madras, really nice cars, things are rough all over. Yeah, right. But he says at the time, I know better now. And it seems like now is where he realizes, oh, shoot, things aren't so great for the Socias either. Think about what might Ponyboy realize here. Let's keep reading because I think Ponyboy talking with Cherry is going to help us really nail this down, what Ponyboy realizes. All right, so you're going to keep being Ponyboy. I'm going to be Cherry. And the goal here is to figure out what Ponyboy realizes. Randy's not going to show at the Rumble. He ain't scared. He's just sick of fighting. Bob was his best buddy since grade school. How's Johnny? No, I couldn't. I couldn't. He killed Bob. Oh, maybe Bob asked for it. I know he did, but I could never ever look at the person who killed him. You only knew his bad side. He could be sweet sometimes and friendly. But when he got drunk, it was that part of him that beat up Johnny. I knew it was Bob when you told me that story. He was proud of his rings. Oh, why do people sell liquor to boys? Why? I know there's a law against it, but kids get it anyway. I can't go see Johnny. I know I'm too young to be in love and all that, but Bob was something special. He wasn't just a boy. He had something that made people follow him, something that marked him different, maybe a little better than the crowd. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to give you charity, Ponyboy. I only wanted to help. I liked you from the start, the way you talked. You're a nice kid, Ponyboy. Do you realize how scarce nice kids are nowadays? Wouldn't you try to help me if you could? Real good. Thanks, Ponyboy. You dig okay. Aha! So let's think about this. Cherry comes, talks to Ponyboy. She's clearly upset. She's upset because she lost someone that she was really close to. She lost her boyfriend. And she's probably so torn because, on the one hand, she knows that there was good in Bob, but also she's got to reconcile that with the horrible things that he did, right? Like he beat up Johnny and then beat up Ponyboy and tried to drown him. So she's struggling. And it seems like Ponyboy starts to realize that things are rough all over. He yells at Cherry. He's mad at her because she won't go see Johnny. Don't you ever try to give us handouts. He's yelling at her. But then he ends by asking, can you see the sunset really good from the west side? And of course they can see it on the east side because it's the same, right? I mean, think about it. The sunset on the east side of South Bend and on the west side of South Bend is the same sunset. It looks the same. So what's Ponyboy realizing about him and the Socias? Seems like he's realizing that they have a lot more in common, right? They have a lot more in common than they have that is different, right? It seems like money separates them, but the Socias still have problems even though they have money. They just have different problems. So if that's the case, Ponyboy realizes that, then why does he do blank in Chapter 9? You gotta read Chapter 9 to find out what I'm talking about. You'll be blown away. Chapter 9. Rumble! Get ready to rumble! So read Chapter 9 for Monday. Record one signpost and make one discussion question. I'll show you that really quick. Although you already know how to do this. Right? It's listed here for classwork. Whoops, I don't want that one. I want this one right here. Hey, get out of here. That one. Yeah, there we go. So on classwork, homework number 6, due Monday. Click on it. My friends, Ponyboy is going to do something pretty unexpected. So I think you already have a contrast and contradiction. When you read Chapter 9, you'll know what I mean. All right? And there is a pretty big aha moment at the very end of the chapter. Spoilers! I love you guys. I want you to know I'm so proud of you. All right? You are going to come out of remote learning so much stronger. I presume you're going to be a lot better at typing, right? I miss you guys terribly. I hope you guys are doing well. Love you guys.